Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello my esteemed students and welcome to a new lesson of English. Our today's lesson we will talk now about the passive. In the previous lessons we talked about the tenses. Now we will move to another topic, which is the passive voice. So now let's begin with the form of the passive voice. In each sentence, the passive voice I mean here, in every sentence we have to put verb to be and past participle. So each sentence in the passive voice must contain verb to be and verb 3, which is past participle. So the tense of the verb to be changes here. The tense of the verb to be changes to give different tenses in the passive. You can note the examples. Example number 1. Are you being served? Are you being served? Here we use in this sentence present continuous. But we have here two verbs to be. The first one refers to present continuous and the second one, or the other one, refers to the passive voice. Are and being. So after are we use be plus ing, and after be plus ing we put past participle. Number 2. My car is insured with ASM. My car is insured with ASM. Here the tense is present simple. So we need just verb to be in the present simple and past participle after it. So here we put is. We put here is because we use present simple, and after that we put verb 3. Then the third example, were you taken to visit the cathedral? Were you taken to visit the cathedral? Here where is the past simple, so here we use were because this tense of the sentence is a past simple sentence. So we have to use were instead of are. Are you taken? No. If we want to put it in the past, we put were. Were you taken to visit the cathedral? Here the meaning is in the past. The following example, I've been invited to a wedding. Here we say, or we can see here, have. After that we have verb to be in the third form, or verb 3, or past participle. Then the past participle of the full verb, the normal verb. I have been invited to a wedding. So the sentence expresses present perfect. The next one, I'd love to be introduced to a film star. I'd love to be introduced to a film star. Here after to we have to put an infinitive verb, and the infinitive verb of verb to be is be. I'd love to be. then we put past participle of the normal or ordinary verb introduced. Now we will talk about the use of the passive voice. Passive sentences move the focus from the subject to the object of active sentences. So here the concentration is on the object, not the subject. We focus in the passive on the object. We don't focus on the subject at all. Like this sentence: Shakespeare wrote Hamlet in 1601 while he was living in London. Here this sentence is written in the active voice. If I want to make it in the passive, I will say Hamlet, the most famous play in English literature, was written by William Shakespeare. Hamlet was written by William Shakespeare. Here I am focusing on Hamlet, which is the object of the previous sentence. I don't focus on the subject, who is Shakespeare. So, as I have said earlier, as I have already said, passive sentences move the focus from the subject to the object of active sentences. Now, the passive is not another way of expressing the same sentence in the active. The passive is not another way of expressing the same sentence in the active. No. Here, the passive, we can choose the active or the passive depending on what we're more interested in. So, if we are interested in the subject, we must use the active voice. If we are more interested in the object more than the subject, we have to use the passive sentences. So, it's not an optional matter. The passive is not another way of expressing the same sentence in the active. Here, we want to know how to choose the sentence. I mean, in which form, the active or the passive form. We choose the active or the passive depending on what we're interested in. If we are interested in the subject, we use the active voice. If we are interested in the object more than the subject, we can use, or we have to use, the passive voice. By and the agent are often omitted in the passive sentences. If, number one, if the agent is not known. Here the agent is the doer, somebody or something, sometimes, who or which does the work. So by and plus the agent or the doer are often omitted in the passive sentences. If, number one, if we don't know who is the agent, who is the doer of the verb, like I was burgled last night. I was burgled last night. Here, somebody burgled me last night, but I didn't know he or she who he or she was. So here I didn't focus on the agent, but I focus on the action. I was burgled last night. I didn't know who is the agent. Number 2. The agent is not important. So, if the agent is not important, there is no need to mention it in the sentence. I can omit it in the passive sentences. As this bridge was built in 1886. This bridge was built in 1886. So some people built this bridge in the past, but I didn't want to mention them because the agent or the agents are not important. Here I want to say something about the bridge itself. Here I want to say something about the bridge and the history of this bridge in the past. The third one, we omit by and the agent in the passive if the agent is obvious, if the agent is clear, so everyone can know who is the agent. Here also there is no need to mention it in the sentence, like the sentence I was fined £100 for speeding. So here, who fined me? I mean the police. The police fined me £100. Here the agent is so clear, so there is no need to mention it in the sentence. By and the agent are often omitted in the passive sentences if the agent is not known, if the agent is not important, and if the agent is obvious or clear. The passive is associated with an impersonal formal style. It's often used in notices and announcements. So the passive is associated with an impersonal formal style. It's often used in notices and announcements. Like these sentences. Customers are requested to refrain from smoking. Customers are requested to refrain from smoking. Here we have notice. Here we have a notice. And the following sentence. It has been noticed that reference books have been removed from the library. It has been noticed that reference books have been removed from the library. So here in these two sentences we can note that the passive is linked with an impersonal formal style, and we use it in notices, in announcement, if I want to announce something in general. In the formal language, we often use you, we, and they. to refer to people in general or to no person in particular. And in this way, we can avoid using the passive. So sometimes if we want to avoid using the passive voice, we can use you, we, and they to refer to people in general. So here we don't refer to specific people, we refer to people in general, like the sentence: you can buy stamps in lots of shops, not just post offices. You can buy. So here you doesn't refer to anybody. Here you refers to people in general. It doesn't refer to a specific person. You can buy stamps in lots of shops, not just post offices. Number 2, they are building a new department store in the city center. But who are they? We don't know. We don't know, because they here also refers to people in general. We don't mean any specific person or people. Yeah. Number 3, we speak English in this shop. And here we refers to people in general. It doesn't refer to any specific person or particular person. So in general, if you want to avoid using the passive voice, we can use subject pronouns like you, we, and they to refer to people in general or to no person in particular. Now we have a notice. Many past participles are used as adjectives. Here we have to differentiate between the past participle as a verb and the past participle as an adjective, because many past participles are used as adjectives, as in the following examples: I am very interested in modern art. I am very interested in modern art. Here, interested is not a verb in past participle form. Here, interested is an adjective. So, we have to draw carefully our attention to this tip. Number 2, we were extremely worried about you. We were worried about you. Here, worried also is an adjective. It is not a verb in the past participle form. The third sentence: I am exhausted. I am tired. Here is the meaning: I am exhausted. I've been working hard all day. Here, exhausted is an adjective and its meaning is tired. So don't confuse between adjectives and past participles as verbs. Now let's move to present simple and present continuous passive. We will begin with form. Present simple passive In this tense, we put is, are plus past participle. I mean, we put verb to be and verb 3 after it. If the subject pronoun is I, is if the subject pronoun is he, she, or it, are when we have we, you, and they. So most workers are paid monthly. Most workers are paid monthly. Here we put are and past participle, and here the meaning is present simple. Here we talk about something which is usual. Is service included in the bill? Here we have a sentence in the form of a question. Is service included in the bill? Also here we have is and past participle after it. But if I want to use present continuous passive, I have to put is, are plus being plus past participle. Here we have two verbs of verb to be. The first one is are, and the second one has the form of being. Then we put verb 3. We can look at the following sentences. This road is being widened. This road is being widened. So now at present here the meaning, this road this way is being widened. At this moment, at the moment of talking, the road is being widened. Are you being served? Are you being served? Here also the meaning is now or at present. Now let's move to the use. I mean the use of the passive. The uses are the same in the passive as in the active. Examples: my car is serviced every 6 months. Here we have a habit. My car is serviced every 6 months. Here we have a habit, so we use the present symbol. But here the present symbol is in the passive voice. Computers are used everywhere. Also here we have a fact, and this fact is true all the time. Computers are used everywhere in the world. So here we have to use present symbol, but here the sentence is passive, so we use present simple passive. Number 3, the house is being decorated at the moment. Here we can see at the moment in the sentence, so the tense is present continuous. We have to put the sentence in present continuous passive. The house is being redecorated at the moment. Here we talk about activity that is happening now. That is happening now. As a conclusion, the uses are the same in the passive as in the active. But here the form of the sentence is different. Here in the passive we focus on the object. We don't focus on the subject of the sentence. Thank you very much, my dear students. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening to me. And I hope you good future. Goodbye.